Welcome, Seeker.
What if I told you that the very force that fuels your deepest anxiety is also the hidden key to unlocking profound calm? That within every fear, every tremor of unease, lies its own opposite, waiting to be discovered, mastered, and transformed. This is not just a poetic idea. It is one of the most ancient and universal laws whispered through the corridors of Hermetic philosophy, the principle of polarity. The fourth Hermetic Law, the teaching that everything exists in duality, light and shadow, hot and cold, joy and despair, and that these opposites are not separate enemies, but two ends of the same spectrum. Imagine a pendulum, endlessly swinging from one extreme to another. The more forcefully it moves into fear, the greater the potential it carries to return into peace. Anxiety and calm are not two different realities. They are polar expressions of the same energy. The difference lies only in degree, and through awareness, that degree can be shifted. This law has been preserved in mystery schools, echoed in the teachings of sages, and encoded in the very rhythms of nature. Day becomes night, winter turns to spring, the tide retreats only to return. All life breathes through polarity, and so do we. In this journey, we will uncover the hidden wisdom of the law of polarity, tracing its roots in ancient philosophy and Hermetic thought. We will learn why understanding it is more than intellectual. It is practical, transformative, even life-changing. Most importantly, we will explore how you can take this law out of the abstract and into your own life. How to shift your emotional pendulum, to turn the weight of anxiety into the balance of calm, and to wield polarity as a tool of mastery rather than a chain of suffering. This is not about denying the shadows, nor chasing the light blindly. It is about learning to hold both ends of existence and, in that paradox, discovering your power. So let us step into the hidden chamber of the Hermetic Law of Polarity and unlock its secret alchemy of transformation. To understand the law of polarity, we must first step back into the ancient world, a time when wisdom was not divided into philosophy, science, and spirituality, but seen as a single living current of truth. The Hermetic tradition, attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, stands as one of the earliest voices proclaiming this law. In the Kybalion, a text said to contain the essence of Hermetic teachings, it is written, "Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites." For the sages, polarity was not an abstract observation, but a law of existence itself, a principle by which the universe moves and sustains balance. This insight was not limited to Hermetic thought. In the East, the Taoist philosophy described the dance of yin and yang, dark and light, passive and active, the eternal interplay of opposites that form the harmony of the Tao. In Vedic teachings, duality is seen in gunas, forces of creation, preservation and dissolution, always shifting in balance. Across cultures, the pattern repeats. Opposites are not enemies, but partners in the cosmic rhythm. Greek philosophers too understood this mystery. Heraclitus famously declared, "The path up and down are one and the same." For him, tension between opposites was not conflict, but the very engine of life. Plato and later Neoplatonists would see the material and the spiritual as mirrored poles, each reflecting the other in degrees of reality. But polarity is not only cosmic, it is deeply human. The Stoics spoke of emotions as states that could be shifted through discipline and perception, an echo of Hermetic wisdom. What we call anxiety, they saw as a distorted judgment, a misalignment of the mind that, when corrected, could reveal its opposite, tranquility. So why has this knowledge been obscured or forgotten? In part, because modern thought tends to divide and categorize rather than synthesize. Science examines parts, religion elevates absolutes, but the ancients taught synthesis, the ability to see unity in duality, to hold paradox without breaking it apart. In truth, Polarity has never disappeared. It remains coded in our language, hot and cold, love and hate, success and failure. It appears in the cycles of nature, in the seasons of our lives, and in the shifts of our moods. Yet few realize that by understanding this law consciously, we gain the power to navigate these currents rather than be swept away by them. The law of polarity is more than philosophy. It is the forgotten bridge between suffering and mastery. And it is here, at this intersection of ancient wisdom and modern struggle, that we begin to uncover its deeper meaning. At its essence, the law of polarity declares that opposites are not separate, but two ends of the same spectrum. Hot and cold are not different substances. They are varying degrees of temperature. Light and darkness are not enemies. They are gradations of the same phenomenon. So, it is with the mind. Anxiety and calm are not separate worlds, but poles of one inner state. What we call overwhelm, when shifted, becomes the stillness of clarity. The difference is not in kind, but in degree. Think of a pendulum swinging. At one end lies fear, restlessness, and unease. At the other, serenity, confidence, and trust. Both exist on the same arc, governed by the same law of motion. By understanding this, we discover that transformation is not about escaping anxiety, but about shifting it toward its opposite pole. The Hermetic sages often compared this process to alchemy. Just as lead could be transmuted into gold through careful refinement, the raw energy of anxiety can be transmuted into calm when approached with awareness. The energy itself is not the enemy. It is neutral. What matters is how we direct and refine it. This is why polarity is so empowering. It teaches us that no state of being is fixed. Every negative contains its positive. Every shadow hides a light. The same nervous energy that keeps us awake at night can, when harnessed, become the fire of creativity, the focus of discipline, or the fuel of determination. But here lies the deeper secret. Shifting poles does not happen by force. We cannot simply command fear to vanish or will anxiety into stillness. The Hermetic teaching is subtler. Transformation occurs by degrees, by small, conscious shifts like gradually turning a dial. Awareness itself becomes the lever. When you catch yourself spiraling in anxious thought, pause and ask, what is the opposite pole of this feeling? What would calm look like in this moment? By holding both ends of the spectrum in your mind, you activate the law. You remind yourself that what feels overwhelming is not permanent. It belongs to a continuum, and you have the power to shift along it. This is why the ancients called polarity a law of liberation. It reveals that despair is not the end, nor is chaos a prison. Every state contains the seed of its reversal. The challenge is to learn the art of movement between poles. And this is where the true practice begins. If these ancient teachings stir something within you, consider subscribing to this channel. Share your reflections in the comments. Have you ever experienced a moment when anxiety unexpectedly shifted into calm? You may find that your own story is already a hidden example of this law at work. To deepen our understanding, we must look beyond the surface. Many people believe anxiety and calm are opposites in constant battle, as if one must destroy the other. But polarity reveals a paradox. Opposites are not enemies, but partners in a hidden dance. Consider the ocean. Its waves rise and fall, crest and crash. The turmoil on the surface does not negate the stillness in the depths. Anxiety is like the churning waves, restless, unpredictable, while calm lies in the deep waters beneath. Both belong to the same sea. To master the law of polarity is to remember that within every storm, the depths remain untouched. This truth also exposes a common misconception, that inner peace is achieved by banishing anxiety forever. In reality, the Hermetic teachings suggest something subtler. Anxiety and calm are not permanent destinations, they are flowing states. The true skill lies in recognizing where you are on the spectrum and learning how to move consciously toward balance. Think of a scale of light. At one extreme, blinding brilliance. At the other, pitch black shadow. But in truth, both are made of light, differing only in intensity. The same applies to the emotions within us. Fear and serenity, chaos and order, they are varying expressions of one inner force. When the ancients spoke of transmutation, they weren't speaking of escaping human experience, but of refining it. To transmute anxiety into calm is not to eliminate nervous energy, but to redirect it. The same electricity that can burn also illuminates. The same nervous tension that causes unease can be shifted into heightened awareness, alertness, and readiness. This understanding also reveals why resistance often makes anxiety worse. The more we push it away, the stronger it grows because we are fixating on one pole. The Hermetic method suggests instead, acknowledge the anxiety, hold it, then gradually guide it toward its opposite. Like gently turning a wheel, we rotate our state of being. Some mystics taught visual practices for this very reason. Imagine anxiety as a dark flame, flickering, consuming. Then, with intention, picture it cooling into a steady, luminous light. You are not extinguishing it, but transforming its nature. This is alchemy of the mind, where fear becomes clarity and turbulence becomes strength. This is the hidden secret of polarity. Every extreme conceals its opposite, and with awareness, the shift can begin. If this resonates with you, take a moment to subscribe and share your insights below. What polarity in your life have you most struggled with, and how might you begin to shift it? Your reflections could become the spark for someone else's transformation. Understanding polarity in theory is like holding the key, but to unlock its true power, you must apply it. Anxiety, stress, or tension will not vanish by intellectual knowledge alone. They must be transmuted through conscious practice. The first step is awareness without judgment. The moment you feel anxiety rising, do not fight it. Instead, pause, breathe, and name it. This is anxiety. By naming the pole, you anchor yourself in awareness. This simple act creates space between you and the storm, reminding you that you are not the emotion. You are the one preceding it. Second, practice polarized breathing. Inhale slowly, deeply, holding the breath for a moment. Exhale longer than you inhale. As you do this, imagine yourself sliding along a spectrum, from agitation to serenity, from storm to stillness. Each breath becomes a step toward the opposite pole. Another technique is mental reframing. Anxiety is often energy without direction. Instead of labeling it as fear, reframe it as alertness, readiness, or excitement. A racing heart before a challenge can be the same energy that fuels courage. By shifting the label, you shift the pole. You can also create a polarity ritual. When anxiety arises, light a candle in a dark room. Watch the flame and reflect. Where there is darkness, there is also light. Where there is tension, there is calm. Let the physical flame remind you of the inner flame you can cultivate. Such rituals imprint polarity into the subconscious, making the shift more natural over time. For deeper practice, keep a polarity journal. Each day, write down moments of anxiety and identify their opposite quality. For example, anxiety before speaking, the potential for calm confidence. Over time, this rewires your mind to seek balance rather than resistance. But remember, this is not about instant mastery. It is about gradual refinement. Anxiety and calm are not enemies to be conquered, but energies to be balanced. With practice, you will find that the very moment anxiety arises, you have within you the means to guide it toward tranquility. This is the Hermetic art of transmutation, not an escape from life's polarities, but mastery over them. If you found these techniques valuable, subscribe to Labyrinth of the Veiled and share your experiences in the comments. How do you personally transform anxiety into calm? Your story may help someone else walking the same path. The law of polarity whispers a timeless truth. All things exist on a spectrum, and within every extreme lies its opposite. Anxiety and calm are not separate worlds, but twin reflections, bound together by the same universal law. When you grasp this, life begins to change. Anxiety no longer appears as an enemy, but as raw energy waiting for direction. The moment you shift perspective, the storm begins to still, and what once felt overwhelming becomes fuel for clarity, resilience, and peace. This is the essence of Hermetic wisdom, the mastery of one's inner states, not by denial or suppression, but by conscious transformation. You are the alchemist of your own emotions, capable of turning the lead of fear into the gold of serenity. So the next time anxiety rises, pause and remember, the power to choose your pole rests in your hands. Within the trembling lies the seed of calm. Within the chaos lies the path to balance. What will you do with this power? If you found value in this journey, subscribe to Labyrinth of the Veiled, like this video, and share your reflections in the comments. Your insights may inspire others to walk the path of transformation.